So timely studying is the best way to do well in this course. And don't be afraid of asking questions. There's no stupid questions. When you are a student, is the best time to ask questions. There's no silly or dumb questions for students. It will be, some questions will be, people will laugh at you when you go and work. But now, as a student, you should have all the right to ask any questions related to things that you do not understand. So please ask questions as much as you can. And my job is to address those questions and try to clarify things. 8 seconds to end the check-in. Okay, I think it's ended. Okay. طيب. Let's go back and continue with so I see some of you, they could not check in. I did not take I'm not sure what happened with you, but do we have a student who managed to check in? Some of you. So some of you managed to check in.
Yes.
So when you went to Blackboard, then you went to attendance?
Yes, and there is maybe there is a misunderstanding, doctor, because maybe they're thinking there is a code. There is no code. You just press on the check-in.
There's no code, yes.
Yeah.
So you press check-in and that's it.
Yeah,
Again, today is, I will not count the absence for today and at the end, but I want, because the first time I tried, I used to read the names and it takes a lot of time. So I was told that this is a better way to doing it. So there's no code, just you go to attendance and you press check-in and then that's it for you. So make sure for those who were not able to check in today, next time you just go to attendance and then just press check-in and it will be counted in the system. So again, if you couldn't do it today, don't worry. Again, towards the end, I will not count the first lecture because again, I'm using this for the first time. So I see some of you managed to do it, some of you do not manage to do it. So make sure on Wednesday when we do this again, you go to attendance, you press check-in, and that's what you need to do. Okay. Okay. So let's have some general discussion about the course. Again, this is we'll have 2 parts of the course, that is probability and statistics, and the main thing that we need to consider, or some of the terminologies that are usually mentioned in the course are the word deterministic versus random or probabilistic. So what's a deterministic phenomena or a deterministic model? Can someone tell me what's a deterministic model or deterministic phenomena? Or give me an example of a deterministic thing. The word deterministic, is it clear to you? What does it mean?
What does it mean, doctor?
So deterministic is something that is so deterministic thing, a deterministic phenomena or event is I'm just coming up with this definition, is something that you can predict exactly with no error. For example, what is the sunrise time tomorrow? Is this a random thing or this is a deterministic thing? The sunrise of tomorrow.
Deterministic.
It's deterministic. We can know exactly what's the sunrise of tomorrow, what's the sunset time, what's the sunrise in 10 years, in 15 years, in 100 years, and so on. So this is a deterministic thing. For example, if you, I'm not sure if you, some of you have interest in what they called astrology or cosmology. 2 weeks ago, we had a rare event that happens every many years. We had the two planets, Jupiter and Saturn, were aligned so that you can see them just behind each other from the Earth. And I had the advantage of knowing a friend who follows those things, and he has a telescope. So we went to Qatar and we watched them exactly behind each other, so you can see them in one shot, both Saturn and Jupiter, Mushtari and Zuhal. And the next time that this will happen, we know it. It's after, I guess, 700 or 800 years that the two planets will be on one line, seen from the Earth. So this, all the movements of planets or the things that you did before in for example, Ohm's law, which I equals V over R. We know that if you tell me the voltage over what resistance, I can calculate the current. There's no randomness in that. Also Newton's law, first law, second law. Even though now we know that Newton's law, they are not applicable to very tiny small objects like the electrons, and the movement of electrons do not follow Newton's law, but Newton's law are applicable and they are fixed, and we know exactly the movement of objects according to the Newton's law. So all of these are deterministic. We can call them deterministic phenomena. However, most of the life is not like that. Most of the life is follow what we call random models or probabilistic model. So, for example, do we know how many corona or COVID-19 cases will take place tomorrow? As you know, I'm not sure if you follow the account of the Ministry of Public Health on Twitter, but they publish every day the number of new cases, the number of cured cases, the total number, and so on. Does anyone predict, or are you able to predict the exact number of cases every day? The exact number, no, we cannot. I see one of you saying yes, we can give a rough approximation. Yes, and this is what we will be learning in this course: how to manage around having random things. Even though we do not know things for exact, we can predict things. We can take decisions based on prediction. So this is a random thing, or probabilistic things. It's not fully random, but it has some randomness in it. Also, I'm not sure if some of you start you start investing like in the stock market. And so how well the stock market or how will stock market perform tomorrow also. Let's see today. I invest in the stock market. I advise you to invest in the stock market if you have money. Of course, if you don't, so don't invest. But today, I'll check now. So the stock market went up 1.09%. So today, up 1.09%. Nobody knew yesterday that it will be up. If we knew that it will be up 1.09%, I could have bought things yesterday and sold them today. If I know for sure that it will be up. In the stock market, if you know things in advance in 1 minute or 2 minutes, then you will make a lot of money. Bitcoin rate tomorrow. Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, I did some investment in Bitcoin, but I sold them a while ago. So yeah, there's more randomness in than in stock market. Stock market, because usually the movement of the stocks, generally they should follow the performance of the companies. If the company is doing well, is distributing profits, then the price will go up. And usually in this month, January and February, companies start. Majid, I will come to you 1 second. Companies they start coming up with their yearly or annual performance. So over the next period, the stock market will go up and down for the different companies based on their reporting. Majid, go ahead.
Doctor, my question is for the stock market. First question, isn't it kind of like a bet because we can't really predict what's going to happen? And the second thing is stock markets are also as volatile as the Bitcoin because any political changes can upset them. What's your understanding of this?
First of all, no, I cannot compare the stock market to the cryptocurrency. Simply because, again, the companies in the stock market, there are assets behind them. So if you buy a share in whatever, Saeed or Sinaat or QMB, or there are assets, what they call assets behind them. There is the companies, they have their factory, they have their products, so there are some assets behind them. While cryptocurrencies, there is no assets. There are no assets. They are just there is no physical asset. It's all built on knowledge. I know that this is becoming maybe at one point we'll all do our transactions using cryptocurrencies, but I know that countries now they are looking into intermediate solutions to that to generate cryptocurrencies for the countries themselves. So I know at one point QMB was looking into this. Also, some other companies, cryptocurrency companies, they wanted to do, I forgot the name of that because I attended a conference in 2017 when this was on. I was interested in Bitcoin when it was $2,000. Now it's like more than $30,000. I hope I bought some at that time. But anyhow, so stock markets for sure it follows the political changes, but it's not as vulnerable to changes as the others, because at any point maybe all the countries they will come together and decide that they will not recognize cryptocurrencies. So if they do that, that will be the end of cryptocurrencies. And part of my own belief that part of what's going on with the rise now with Bitcoin is because Trump was not a big fan of cryptocurrencies. Trump, as a businessman, was against technology in general. He's more into a classical real estate manufacturing businessman. So he was not a big fan of new technologies, and for sure not a big fan of cryptos. So anyhow, I don't want to spend a lot of time, but there are ways to go around it, like to minimize the risk in investing in the stock market. And if time allows, during the course, we can talk more about this. Another student raised a hand, I remember. I saw Azzuddin. Yes, Azzuddin. Go ahead. You have a question, Azzuddin?
Yes. My question is, what about the two planets you mentioned?
What about what?
The example you mentioned, the two planets in one line. I didn't understand. It's determined or random.
Yeah. As I said 2 weeks ago, if you follow the movement of the planets, I have some interest in that area. There was, every day there is something. If you follow the Twitter account of Sheikh Salman bin Jabal, he's probably the most famous one in Qatar who's following that. So he always talk about the things that happens in the planet's movement. So 2 weeks ago we had, as you know, we have those the solar system. We have many planets moving around the sun. They are moving at different speeds, at different diameter, like the diameter of their circle is different from each other. So we had this phenomena that we knew this in advance, that on last, I guess it was a Tuesday or Sunday, I forgot which day of the week was. We knew that Saturn and Jupiter will be aligned on the same line, and you can see them with one telescope facing one direction. And they calculate, and you can calculate this, and you expected this to happen, and people were excited about it because you will not be able to see it in your lifetime anymore for us, because the next time it will happen, it will be after 700 years. So it's a deterministic. The movement of the planets, the sunrise, the sunset, all of these are deterministic phenomena that we can predict exactly beforehand, before it happens. Another simple example is for example, the number of text messages that you receive every day. This is also random. Why is it random? Do you know how many messages that you will get today or tomorrow? We cannot, because many people, there are events that are taking place, people will text you about it. So all of these are random phenomena that we do not know how to predict exactly beforehand. So in this course, the probability part, we will learn how to quantify the risk sorry, associated with randomness. So we'll model randomness, and then utilize different metrics to assess our decisions. And in statistics, we'll learn how to deal with data, because our main source of knowing about what's going on is collecting data. So we'll learn how to deal with data to describe them, describe the data, and to utilize it in taking decisions. So this is more or less what we'll be doing in this course. One last thing I want to say is some philosophical thing, which is randomness and God. So someone might ask, how come that we are talking about randomness in this world, and all of us, I assume, we are believers. I'm not sure if we have non-Muslims in the groups, even non-Muslims. We all believe of a creator who created this universe in a perfect way based on certain rules and certain conditions, and things are really well designed and catered for. So how come we have randomness? How come we have randomness in this world, or abath, or ashwa'iyya? Do you have any of you have any idea about this?
Doctor, I think I do.
Yes.
I think
Okay,
it's
go ahead.
because every event happens in our life usually happen because of many factors. Some of these factors we can't see or predict, but some of them they are hidden from us. So we call it randomness. But from God perspective, it's not, because there are many factors which He can see. They're not hidden from Him, but they are hidden for us. So that's why it's because of.
Can you give me an example?
Like the creation of the beginning of the universe.
So the beginning of the universe is a random thing?
No, it's not a random thing, but some people, like some atheists, they believe it's random. Why? Because firstly, we didn't witness this event, and secondly, because in order to know how did it happen, we need to like many scientific to it.
Okay. I agree with what you said. Any other ideas?
I know my example wasn't accurate, but it's that was the first thing came to my mind.
Okay. No, thank you. Very well articulated.
Thanks.
Any other ideas?
Doctor, because this world is an exam, and because God has given us free will, randomness exists.
Okay. So because a human being has a free will, then randomness exists, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. I want to collect as many feedback, and then I will give you my perspective. Of course, there are things that you cannot say it's what's right and what's wrong, but I will give my perspective. But what you mentioned is an important factor that I also plan to talk about when I tackle it from my point of view. So any other ideas on this?
Doctor.
Yes.
I think this question is very deep question. I can't give an answer with 2 minutes. It's too much thinking.
Okay.
What's the question again?
What's the question again? Question is, how come we have randomness in this world, and we all, or most of us, believe that God has created this world in an exact way according to certain rules and conditions. So we should not have randomness. How come we believe in God and His ability to create a perfect world, and then we have randomness? That we need to have some sciences to tackle it and to minimize its effect.
I guess what we see as randomness is something planned.
Something planned?
Yeah, something like that.
What do you mean?
It's accounted for, I think. What I want to say.
So what you are saying that God has created randomness, and then He somehow put some rules to deal with it. Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, something like that.
أنا دكتور كل شيء بحسبان هذا قصده.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Any other? I see a raised hand. I will leave few minutes for me to give my perspective at the end. Yes, go ahead.
Doctor, we might see like the randomness is exist, but from our side is like limited side, not like the God's side. And according to the verse إن كل شيء خلقناه بقدر, like the God has created everything like بالملي.
Okay. Okay. Any other?
Doctor, I have an answer.
Yes. Sure. Go ahead.
You said that the against random is deterministic, right?
Yes.
And the God from point of God, there is no the definition of deterministic is to know the thing, that from point of God that he knows everything. So, but us we don't know. So
Okay.
it's,
Fair enough. Fair enough. Abdullah, last one. Go ahead, Abdullah. Raise your hand.
And Doctor, I want to add something. I think because when God created, life and the universe and the cosmos, I think as one of my friends said, because randomness has some strict rules. Like for example, when somebody born in a non-Muslim place, for example, no matter what decision he will make, that will serve the purpose of our existence. Like for example, when Allah talk about the disbelievers, he talk about them, he's giving them chance to believe, and also their existence serve the existence of us. How they are not believers, so they are like fitna to us, and also they are giving the chance to become Muslims. And for us, they are being our test. So no matter what our decisions will be, they will serve the purpose of our existence.
Okay. Okay. طيب, thank you all. Very well, very nice discussion. I know this discussion needs probably more time, but let me say a few things. Probably I'm really surprised. I'm more surprised, but I'm really I like what all of you said. Mashallah, you have well understanding of what I wanted to say. So a few points. Again, the key things that I want to say, randomness is from our point of view only. From the point of view of God, there is no randomness. And I think Stephen Hawking, he said that God does not play dice. And from God's point of view, or from the Creator point of view, or from Allah's point of view, things are not random. So, but from our perspective, yes, we have randomness. Why? In my opinion, we have two things. We have the physical world around us, and we have the human being interaction. So for the physical world, we have things that are random, like and very famous example we'll be talking about in this course, like flipping a coin. If you flip a coin, you cannot predict whether it's a head or a tail. However, if you are able to know exactly what will be the power that you will push the coin up with, and the movement of the air particles, and the exact weight of the coin, and all the factors, some of you talked about all the factors governing this process, we will be able to tell whether it will lay down on a head or a tail, or even on the edge. What's the probability of it being because ideally speaking, it can land on the edge. So if we know all the problem with the physical world, we do not have control over all the factors that affect the phenomena that we are talking about. Like earthquakes are random, volcanoes are random. Why we look at it as random? Because we do not have control about all what's going on under the earth, the movement of the layer, what's going on inside the volcano, the different reactions taking place. If we know exactly, if we have all the data that available to us, if we know all the movements that are taking place, for sure we'll be able to predict when an earthquake will take place. Maybe there are some external factors that we are not aware about. So is it our role? Is it, should we stop of doing that? No. Allah wants us, or God wants us to have full control on the earth, or full control of what we can have control over. He wants us to have this, and to explore, and to find the rules, and to have more control about the data, collect more data. This is mandated for us. This part of the job of people on this earth is to master the control of this earth. I don't think we'll be able to master everything at any point of time, but our role is to maximize as much as we can. The other part of randomness comes from human interaction, and I will finish in 1 minute, 3:15. Like, people are not predictable. You cannot, many of the phenomena has to do with people, like opinions in the election. They do a lot of polls, like if you were following the American elections, maybe you change your mind at the last minute. So when it comes to human being nature is not predictable, and that's why there is a lot of randomness around any phenomena related to human being. And that's something also from God's point of view. He knows everyone what he or she will choose or will decide or will do tomorrow. From your point of view, you feel that you have full control or full freedom of what you want to do, and you can switch every time. At any point of time, you can switch your decisions, but that does not mean that there is someone else who knows what you will do without affecting your decision. Anyhow, I don't want to take longer time. It's 3:15. I look forward to have an enjoyable course with you guys, and I hope that you will put the needed effort to finish this course successfully. I wish you all the best, and relaxing afternoon, and we'll talk again on Wednesday, inshallah. I will post the recording and the notes of this lecture on Blackboard. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Doctor.